So welcome everyone. Welcome to Terri and I's joint class, the Graphic 45 Steampunk Spells mini album. Good morning, Terri in California. How are you?
Good. It's really early here, though.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's 9 o'clock.
I had to get up at 6.
So we do have, this is a new platform that we're playing with, but the nice part was we could have 2 windows up at once. We don't have a chat window built in, but I just sent a link. You should see a link to a chat room that's called Chatsy. It's a little free program that we can all chat with each other there. You do have a questions and answer window here. If you type a question in here, only I see it. It doesn't go to the whole group, so that's not where to chat. That's where to ask a question. But if you want to chat to one another, that should be working over there. All your microphones are muted because of the background noise. So if you want me to unmute you, send me a message in the question window or in the chat window. Terri, show us what we're going to make today.
This is our book that we're going to make tonight. This is Steampunk, and then it's got 6 pages in size, and each of these pages have 2 pockets. One here, actually 3 pockets. One here, and then actually on the opposite side of the page, on the back side, there's actually a pocket. Okay, I'm going for my camera here backwards. There's actually a pocket right there too. I know it's hard to do on the camera. You're looking backwards. But it's a 6-page book. And this book, what's really cool about this, once you learn this basic design, this can be done in lots of different ways. I did this using the beautiful Robin's Nest papers in a Christmas book. The exact same idea. So this can definitely be done in many ways.
And you know, I did the Christmas set with Graphic 45's Christmas paper, which we have a kit for sale. I haven't put it on the site yet. And I forgot the book at home, and I'm in my office because I'm running 2 rooms at the same time. So we'll have to post a picture on Terri's page. Remember, again, questions in the question window only go to us. If you want to chat, you want to use the link that I keep posting in the little chat window. Many of you have your kits already. If you got a kit in the mail, please leave everything in the bag. All you want to do right now is take out the 8x8s and the 6x6 papers. So take out the 8x8s and the 6x6s. We're going to go ahead and get started. For the 8x8s, if you have our kit, you got 12, I think, 8x8 papers. I think that's correct. Isn't that right, Terri? 12.
I believe that's correct.
So what we're going to do, so we don't have screw-ups, because when we've taught this face-to-face, we've had folks, get a little confused. Out of those 12 sheets, we only need 10 for the book. So inside those 12 sheets, there's 2 of them that look like tags or little cutouts. I think there's actually 3. But you're going to take 2 out of those 3 and put them aside. So you want to find the 2 papers that look like tags or cutouts. There was 1. There's another one. There's 3. You're going to have to use one of them. I think the one that's got 6 on it, where it splits right in half, works well for the book if you want.
Actually, this one works really good also, Joe, for as little tags in the inside of the pages.
Oh, see? So take 2 out of those 3 and put them aside. So you're left with 10 8x8 pages. So Terri's going to take the 2 she doesn't want to screw up and put them far, far away.
Back in my bag.
It doesn't matter what 2 you choose, but these
They're going
2
back in my bag.
we're not going to use on pages. Oh no, Danielle, it says that the chat room is full for non-premium users. Let me see how I make it a premium room.
I could pull out of the chat if it helps.
Oh, no, hold on. I can make it a premium room for 1 second. Just give me a sec while we go. So now you pulled out those 2 pages. You're left with 10. Now for the 10, you have to make some tough choices. You need to choose one for the front cover. And that's going to be whatever one you want for the front cover of your book. Terri chose the one there with that steampunk lady on it. You're going to want to put that aside. You're going to choose one for the back cover.
Any one you want. You'll have to use the one I'm using. And these are all going back in my bag. You see that, guys? Back in my bag. Everything's still in my bag. Don't take everything out of here. Now, while Joe's thinking, we're going to need 2 more to put to side for the inside covers. So we picked the front cover, a back cover, and now you need an inside and an inside. Okay? So I'm going to grab 2 more.
Robin and Daniela, I think if you just enter your email, you can have free access for 3 days. It doesn't need a credit card or anything. So if you're blocked out of the chat room, just click on premium. It'll only ask you for an email, I think, and you get a free 3-day trial. So you have 10 8x8 sheets left, 10 8x8 sheets left. Those are what we're going to use for pages. You put away the front cover, the back cover, the inside front, the inside back, and the 2 you want for tags. Those are all tucked away. Now our goal, I'll show you a jumbo sample that I've got. Remember the page Terri showed you looked like this, right? There's an 8x8 piece at the top, the 6x6 piece at the bottom, and you want to be sure that you have room for your pockets. There's one here, there's one in the back, and then there's this big one over here on the side. So keep that in mind as you build. I want you to take your 8x8 sheets of paper, make sure you have the best side facing you, and you're going to fold the top down. So the best side is here, the fold is at the top. Don't do your words upside down or anything. You're going to take all those 8x8s, and you're going to hold them the way you want them, the best side facing you, the words down here at the bottom if there are words. And you're going to take it and take the top half, and fold it to the back. And you got to do this for 6 pieces of paper.
Now, for you guys who are probably going to get confused, you are going to see some things upside down. When you fold a piece of paper in half, you are going to have an upside down section. Just fold it in half and trust us.
Terri Sue, you chatted the word that. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to answer that. Take 8x8, fold the top down. And you should have 6 of those. And you should be able to stack them on your desk like little teepees. That's just the way they're going to look in your book. The line is on the top, and the little teepee faces you. You're doing great. You're doing great. I can tell already. Now, I want you to choose 6 6x6 papers that complement the 6 8x8s you have. And you can see exactly what patterns you're trying to match or go with because they're facing you like little teepees. So now you're going to choose 6 of those 6x6s. And you can even put them together. You can fold them in half. That's what Terry's got now. So she's taken the 6x6. And for the 6x6, you're going to fold the bottom up. Facing you, the bottom up. So the 8x8s we folded top down. The 6x6s we fold bottom up. Terry, you're moving fast. I don't know if they're going as fast in our chat room. Let us know in the chat room how you're doing speed-wise. I know it takes you guys time to choose your 6 8x8s and your 6 6x6s. This is Terry's 3rd time to make the book. I've made it 3 times now. Now, I was going to make one today, and then Terry and I changed our approach. But what I was choosing, because I don't have any extra kits, is I found some really wonderful steampunky paper.
Oh!
Look at that glossy photo of gears.
Oh, I like
my
that.
Cover. A nice brocades, little engineering diagrams. So it takes time, though, to pick those papers. You need 6 6x6s, 6 8x8s. Oh, we need to slow down a second, Terri.
Okay.
The paper that I was showing is old, but it was from Die Cuts with a View, and it was, I think, called Timeless Tales or something like that, Peggy.
I might have to get that kit.
So that is when Terri and I took this class together, we laughed the entire time sitting next to each other because the designer of this is actually Laura Dennison. She does a lot of work from Graphic 45. She's very, very talented, very nice. But Laura knew what she was doing. Terri and I were a little bit lost because we had all these sheets of 8x8 paper. You were supposed to pick some, and she didn't tell us to put the rest away. We were confused what we were doing with what. So that was kind of a struggle. Danielle,
That's
you
why
can
we're
use
encouraging you.
any of the 6x6s you want. You just need to choose 6 of them that coordinate well with your 8x8s. And look at what Terri's done. She's taken the 6x6 and kind of split it into, the 8x8. So it's a nice way for you to see how these 2 pages are going to work together.
Yes, because it will eventually be like this.
Timeless tale. So remember, our 8x8s are sitting on your table like little teepees. That's the top of the teepee. You can just slide the 6x6 inside it and really see how these pages are going to look. Just out of curiosity, we have a lot of folks attending today's class, but I'm not sure how many folks are actually trying to work along at the same time. Could you, when you get a minute, send a message in either the questions window or the chat or anywhere you know how to communicate, and let me know if, are you keeping up okay? Are you done? Ready for the next step? All we've done so far is fold 6 8x8 sheets of paper in half, 6 6x6 sheets of paper in half, and we just laid the 2 together just like this, just so you could see what the 8x8 looks like on top of the 6x6. We just laid these together. Okay, Tina needs a couple minutes. Barbara's doing her 6x6s. Choosing is slow. I agree. Tristan's taking notes. And at the end, everyone who showed up today, I will email you a PDF that has these instructions with photos. If you have the kit, you already got all that. Janice and Marge are good. They're keeping up. Terri Sue, I am trying very hard to record the class. I hope it's happening in an office behind me. And I just keep having to run back and forth to make sure it's okay. Tristan, you should have gotten a set of instructions in with your kit if you got the kit from us. That's what it looked like. Oh, you were told not to open the kit. You listened very well. I never thought of you as being that well behaved.
I'll agree with that one.
Some folks are just getting caught up now, so Tristan says he's a good boy when nobody's looking. But it's like that song, when he's bad, he's very bad and he's good at it. Isn't that
I believe that.
I may be bad, but I'm perfectly good at it. I don't want to sing. You don't want to hear me sing.
Yeah.
There are kits left over to purchase. Terri, do you know how many kits we have left? You're shipping those out now.
I think I have 6 left.
So we have 6 kits left, Terri, and they come with everything we're using, plus a lot more. You'll have plenty of stuff to make cards and other stuff because we put way too much stuff in there. Yes, Tristan, don't worry about written notes. And if you didn't get the instructions in the kit, I will send them to you. Don't worry about them. Rayanne would like a kit, and so would Terri Sue. So we're down to 4. Let me write this down because we'll forget. It's a little crazy here. I've got 6 monitors trying to get this class recorded. Terry's in one place, I'm in one place. I can't find a pen that works. Terry Sue and Ray Ann. So Terry Sue and Ray Ann, that's 2 kits out of the 6 that are left. If anybody else wants a kit, there are 4 left. Oh, this is like QVC. The clock's ticking down. There are 4 kits left, 4 kits. Call in now, callers. Is there anybody out there who has the kit that's caught up with the 8x8? Barbara wants a kit. If you're caught up in folding your 8x8s and 6x6s, Keena, I'm going to send everybody the instructions, I promise. And you'd like, just let me know. I'd love to turn on your mic and we can have a testimonial. Tristan, do you have a mic? Would you be willing to be a testimonial and tell how fabulous that kit was when you opened it? Tristan, I turned on. You don't have a mic. Oh, no. Who has a mic out there that has a kit?
Besides me?
Oh, somebody has a mic out there. The kit is awesome. Barbara, I'm turning on your microphone. Barbara, can you say something?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. So,
well,
Barbara,
yes.
Barbara, tell us about that kit. When you got that kit in the mail, what made you choose that kit from Terry and Joe, Barbara?
Well, because I know that everything you do is wonderful. It's graphic 45. The kit was loaded with stuff. The price was right. What else can I say?
Now, Barbara, have you purchased things from Terry or Joe before?
You bet.
Oh, see, it's a return customer. Terry, don't we just love that here on Terry?
We do.
Well,
where are you calling from, Barbara?
I'm calling from Tennessee.
Tennessee, wow.
Yes.
Do
and you know, I had an idea. You could start bidding and have a bidding war
for Terry.
For the remaining kits. Or Terry. Well, I don't know. Terry's got a fireman. She doesn't need to be bid on.
But what we're bidding on is the movie she made with that fireman, honey. But I don't want. We ain't going there.
Well, then, on second thought,
maybe we all want to join in on that bidding.
That's right. Tristan, where are you?
Tristan doesn't have a mic, so he can't say anything. Oh, no. Oh, with the extra for charity, bidding on kits with extra for charity. We should do a charity show, Terry. Although some people would say we are a charity show.
Yes, I would agree with that.
It would be the Joe and Terry charity, right?
That's right. Okay, we already have
Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
I'm going to close the mics. Perfect. Thank you very much. See, even if you don't raise your hand, I'll turn on your mic. You have to talk to us. So now you have 8 6x6s folded down from the top, and you have 6 6x6s folded down from the top. What you're going to do now is take that 8x8 sheet, open it back up, and I want you to score 1/2 inch from what would be the right-hand side. The left-hand side, the fold's on the top. Everybody's got your fold on the top. The left-hand side is going to go in the spine of the book. The right-hand side, what you're going to do is score it 1/2 inch. And I'll show you these steps. Terry's doing it too. You're going to fold it in half. See how it makes that little thingy? That's the technical word for it. It's that thingy. You're then going to take where that thingy is. Let's see where I get on camera. And you draw 2 little triangles. You're going to cut them because then when you fold it in half, your 8x8 paper ends up looking like a little envelope. See that little envelope flap? So let's make sure everybody's got that down pat. I've got so many little visual aids here, Terry. They're all over the place. You're going to keep the fold on the top, right? And with the fold on the top, you're trying to score the right-hand side. But it's easier to just score it when it's open. So the left-hand side is going to go in the book with the fold on the top. The right-hand side is where you're going to score at that 1/2 inch. Janice says that she stayed at home for church for this. She missed church for us, Terry.
We are our own church there, Joe.
The craziness. So you're going to take that, score it a 1/2 inch in. Again, fold it down from the top. Now make sure you're cutting your corners the right way. Now some people save the corners too. But do you see which way the angles has to go? You could use a corner chopper. It's easiest to cut these when it's folded back in half again. Right? See? So that when you're done, unfolded, of course, it's going to look like this. But when you fold it, these little flaps come in, and they make what looks like a cute little envelope. The left-hand side is the seam, the binding. The right-hand side is open, where your flaps are. Terry Sue wanted to know what tool are you using for scoring. I use a Score Pal. I don't know what you've got.
I actually have a scoring blade that goes on my trimmer, so that's what I'm using.
And I tend to use a Score Pal. It looks like this. You put your paper in here and you zoom down a line.
Yes, I have a, on my trimmer, I have a scoring blade. This blade right here, the pink one is scoring blade. This is a cutting blade. So I am scoring even though it looks like I might be cutting.
Marge, all you're doing is taking a 1/2 inch from the right-hand side and scoring it so you can fold it over. That's all that's happening right now. No cutting. Start with scoring a 1/2 inch from the right-hand side. Oh, Terry has the Martha Stewart version of Score Pal. That has score marks, I think, every 1/8 of an inch, which is pretty cool. So you can do a lot finer lines, the Martha Stewart one.
This one's from EK Success. I've had it forever.
Margie lost power, so she's back. Margie, you take your 8x8 sheets. On the right-hand side of each one, score in 1/2 inch so you can fold it over. See that? Score the 8x8 sheets, pick the right-hand side. The big fold is in the middle. I opened it up. All I did was open it up. Score a 1/2 inch from the side, because what you're going to do is then where you scored, you're going to fold it back in half and cut so that your 8x8 sheets end up making this little flap. Because remember our finished pages, the finished pages for the book, the left-hand side of the binding, the right-hand side has an 8x8 sheet of paper, fold it in half, that's what makes this little pocket where my hand's going, and then these two little flaps. Well, this isn't 8x8 paper. This is actually 11x17 paper, Terry Sue.
He has big visuals for you guys.
I have big visuals. See, these are like muffs from my hands. It was just easier. I use these when I teach face-to-face, so I can hold them way up in a room and see it's bigger than my head. And my new glasses, which I'm so happy with. Hi, Tam. Remember, folks, we do have a little private chat room going on. I sent the URL here. I'm going to send it to you, Tam, so you're sure you have it. You'll have to enter your email address. It'll give you free access for 3 days. So let's give folks a minute here to catch up, Terry. So you want to review what we've done so far?
Yes. So at this point, you have taken all of your 8x8s, 6 of them, and folded them in half. You have 6 6x6s that you have matched, and you folded those in half. Then you have from your top, making sure your fold is on the top, you want to score in 1/2 inch on one side, and then I rounded my corners and folded that in. So it gives you this really cute little finished side here. Now, an option, you can go in and literally glue those little flaps down if you're one of those type of people that that's going to bother you. But that's something that you can do off the show. You don't have to do that right now while we're doing the show, because it will, you can easily do it later. So you can come in and put some adhesive on these little flaps and hold them down. So your flaps will look like that. Okay, and then the bottom, this is actually going to go across the bottom here. That's the next step we're going to do. Don't get ahead of us on that step, because there's a trick that you got to know on this step. So don't get ahead of us. But that's what's going to happen, is this is going to get glued down here like that.
So, Terry, Cynthia wondered if you could open up your page with the flaps out, too, so she could see what the flaps look like on your page. I'm going to go check the recording. Terry, why don't you go over the flap part again, and I'll be right back.
No problem. That one's glued down, so hold on here. Okay, so here's an 8x8. It's a full sheet of paper. We scored it in half and folded it. Okay, and then the fold on top, I've scored a 1/2 inch down on the side there. See that? 1/2 inch. Then I rounded each of my corners, and I just took my scissors and literally just rounded it. Then you open it back up, fold those in, and then refold it so it looks like that. I'm hoping that helped.
Yeah, Janice, you want to do 6 of the 8x8s and 6 of the 6x6s. And the combination will make 6 pages in your book. So if you can do them all now, that's great. If not, it's okay. As long as you know how to make one, when we're all done with the show, you can go back and make all the rest, because they're all the same. But you need 6 of these combinations. 6 8x8s married to 6 6x6s. And I think we're recording with sound, I hope, Terry.
Oh, yay.
Everybody's working very hard.
Yeah, it's actually easier to do live because you see where you guys are, and I can go, okay, that person's waiting and that one's still behind.
Marge wants to know, Terry, fold in or out on the flap?
You're going to fold out. So this is my outside of my paper. So I'm going to fold these flaps so that you'll see the inside on the out. So you get that little detail right there. Hopefully that helped. Now, Joe, what did you call this in your kits?
In those kits, the kits I sent out,
I think yours said spacers.
it says spacer, and it's a piece of cereal box.
Now, if you got a kit from me, it says page template. And it's also just a piece of cereal box or just a piece of junk in your thing. So find this next.
And let me show you where we're headed, just so everybody can see where we're headed. This is the 8x8 sheet on top. The fold is on the top. There's a 6x6 sheet of paper on the bottom. But you can see, this is the spine where I'm holding it with my hand. We need to be able to fit a tag in here. So what we've done is you've got a giant spacer. It says spacer or page template that will slide in here. Now it's hard for me to do it in midair, so I have to adjust here. It's really hard to do it in midair. It slides in there just to help you get your size correct. So why don't we go ahead and make one page out of your book, because that way if you're not caught up, you can at least get one page done, because all 6 are the same. You're going to put the 8x8 piece on top, fold it in half. You're going to put the 6x6 piece underneath it. It'll go on top of the 8x8 with your spacer in between. Right? That spacer should be able to slide in and out pretty nicely, not loose, but the left-hand sides have to line up. The right-hand side has your cute little flap, and it's got this little like extension thing going on. This is exactly how you want to glue your 6x6 to your 8x8.
But, real important, if you open this up, you're going to notice that if you put glue all the way down on these two edges right here, you're going to glue your spacer in. You do not want to do that. Do not glue your spacer in. So when you put your adhesive on, you need to make sure you have this space down here open. I'm going to zoom in really tight on that.
For folks who didn't get a kit, the spacer, obviously the length doesn't matter. It could be 5 feet. It's the height you're concerned about. It's 4.5 inches. It's 4.5 inches top to bottom. 4.5 inches. Length doesn't matter. Length doesn't matter. It's the height that matters. I
disagree with that, but...
Oh, Terry, be good. I can't be funny and get this right.
Okay, you see real good there? You see how my adhesive does not go all the way down on that piece of paper right there? You see that? That's important.
Now, if you're curious, from the top of your 6-inch piece, right up here, this little top piece, down here is going to be about 2 inches. So if you're using score tape, just put a piece of 2-inch score tape starting at the top of your 6x6. And what's kind of easy, I think easier to do, folks have done this in the class, is you put your spacer, see I have to sit back, put your spacer, put your 8x8 in it, line up that left-hand edge, got that. Then you're going to take your 6x6, put it over the 8x8, around the spacer, line up the left-hand edge. Perfectly lined up. See how nice that is? Then you're going to put a little bit of adhesive here and here, seal it up, because then you can just open this up, put that little bit of adhesive 2-inch strip here and here, and that way you'll still be able to slide in and out your big spacer.
Now remember, you have to also turn it over and glue this side. So you get a pocket on both sides. Remember, you have a pocket here. This ends up being a pocket. See that? Pocket. Now on the opposite side, I have to do the exact same adhesive. Got to glue on both sides.
Remember, your goal is an 8x8 on top, a little flap on the right side, 6x6 on the bottom. You're able to slide your spacer in and out. Hard to do in midair. And you want to keep that adhesive on the 6x6s just on the very edges of the 6x6, because that's what gives you this pocket here. So you don't want to go right across the top. You'll lose your pocket.
So when you're done, you have that. So you have a pocket there.
Yes. Yep. On the 8x8, you score the 1/2 inch in on the right side. That's because the left side of your 8x8 will be the seam.
Pocket.
The right side is where you score, and the fold is on the top for the 8x8.
We've lost your. I can't hear you, Joe.
You've lost me. Can you hear me now? Tristan, you don't want the spacer so snug you can't move it, but not too loose either. Just a comfortable, you know, in and out. When my sister made one at home, she was putting the 6x6 in this thing so tight that we had to pull the spacer out. That was ridiculous. That wouldn't work. So it should slide in and out comfortably. It's just hard for me to do it, you know, in midair. Thanks, Daniela. Thanks, Peggy. letting me know. They can hear me, Terry. If you're talking, Terry, we can't hear you, though. Now, Terry, we hear you.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you for a few minutes there.
I think it was your internet.
I don't know what happened.
So you're going to do this 6 times. This is the 6 pages of your book. The spacer is leaving room for a big tag to go in. This is room for a tag. You're going to have the exact same treatment on the back. A pocket with room for a tag. Marge, the tape goes on the 6x6 paper on the ends, the top 2 inches down from the open seam. That's it. Otherwise, you won't be able to get your hand in the pockets. And if you go across the top, you won't have a pocket here. You won't have a pocket here. So let's see if I can use a big marker. I'm going to mark here. That's your tape. 2 little pieces where the blue is. 2 inches over here on the 6-inch paper, 2 inches over here on the 6-inch paper. It's gluing on top of the 8x8.
Front and back.
So this is my 8x8, the big one on top. Let's do the process again. And find my big giant sampler. You're going to take your 8x8 paper. You're going to put it around your spacer. And you're going to line up the left-hand sides. The right's going to be open with your flaps. Left-hand side is lined up with the spacer. Then you're going to take your 6x6 paper. You're going to open it from the bottom. From the bottom. It's going to go over the spacer and over the 8x8. Can you see how it's going over that 8x8? Here. And here are the only 2 places you want any adhesive. This little edge on the left-hand side, this edge on the right-hand side. That's what this blue looks like. Of course, I'm showing it on the outside because you can't see it on the inside. You probably need a 2-inch piece of score tape here and here where the blues are. That lets you put your, if you can't put your hand in here like a holiday muff, you have screwed up. And you should be able to put your hand in the back and your hand in the front. See, that makes that little pocket. The left-hand side lines up because that's the seam of your book. That's the binding. These are going to stack one after another, all from the left. Okay. Send me a message in the chat room or in the question window. I want to know, anybody completely lost, frustrated, need help, you're doing okay? If you could all get 1 page done, that would be great because we can work on the binding next and then the cover. But I'd like to know that everybody has 1 page done. Daniela's got 1 done. Woohoo!
Yay, Danielle! Of course, Danielle rocks.
Okay, you have to see me scratch my back. I have a tag on this sweater. It's making me crazy. Cynthia has a page done. Barbara,
Yay.
3 pages done. Jane, how about you over there across the pond? Jane, across the pond, you have a page done. Daniela has a page done. Keena, 1.5. Good, Keena, I'm proud of you. You don't have any instructions. Barbara Brunder has a page done. Jane, I haven't heard from you. Where's my Jane? Jane's hand is raised in the chat room. I don't know what happened to Jane. Send a message somewhere, Jane. Let us know you're okay. This is why I wasn't too worried about a chat window today, because you don't have time to chat with one another. This is a tough project. You've got to stay focused. This is a hard project. It's so cool when it's done, though. I think you're going to love it.
You know, it's funny, Joe. It's not that it's a hard project. It's the exact same thing over and over and over, but it's definitely time consuming.
And you'd think Terry and I could get it because we tell each other the same thing over and over and over again, but we still got stuck, didn't we, Terry? But we had a space this big to work in.
Oh, yeah.
Terry had been drinking. I had to keep an eye on her. And he's back.
Joe was drunk, so don't even get there. So I don't know how he knows I was drinking.
Oh, Denise is challenged by straight lines. The cool thing, too, notice we didn't do any measuring. Now, you measured, say, a ½ inch for your flap. But when you do this for real, you won't even measure. You'll just make little flaps. They don't have to be a ½ inch.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, 3 inches probably too big, but...
Yeah. Honestly, when I taught the class, I just told them to fold approximately ½ inch in.
Jane, I hope you can hear me out there. I see you're still connected. Margie's good now. Cool. Keen has ordered the topography books to do the same book. And remember, we have all the Christmas kits ready. I just haven't put them on our site. They're going to be a little less expensive than the Steampunk spells because we're not going to include as many sheets of embellishments because we gave you way more than you need for this project in this kit. So we're going to lower the kit cost by taking some extra embellishments out. And I believe we have 3 Steampunk spells kits left. So if you're following along and you think, God, I just want to buy the kit, it's going to be easier, then let me know and we'll get it for you.
It will be because we really basically did all the cutting and everything for you, so the kits are basically done for you, except for actually putting it together.
Yep, the mat boards and all that other stuff's cut.
Yes.
So Terry's doing all 6 of her pages. This is the first time for us to teach side-by-side windows like this and send out kits in advance. We'd love your feedback.
Yes.
Because that helps us learn. We're still learning the technology, how we want to work 2 cameras, but we play well with each other, so we're figuring it out. Don't you think, Terry?
I think so.
Oh, Peggy, thanks.
If you guys have ideas or things that you want to do, let us know.
We thought that it would be really, we were trying something new here where Terry's using the real paper, the real kit, and then I've got these giant visual aids to try to, make it a little more abstract. We thought the combination helps. You're right, Denise. The folds create 2 side pockets, one on the front and one on the back, plus this thing on, well, I guess this is the one big side pocket over here, and then I guess you have a front and a back. I can't change the size of my window, Terry. I wish I could. Mine's high def, so it's a little wider screen. You can make the whole thing bigger, and it'll make both of us bigger, but I can't resize just one.
And for you guys who don't know how, you can grab the corner of your screen and pull it, and you can get a bigger thing. Or you can actually even click on the, up on the top there is one of those things, but you won't see the chat or anything. You'll just see both things, both cameras. So
And
all 6 of mine are done.
Thanks for the feedback. Folks said they liked the kits. Some said they wish they bought the kit. They want more classes with kits. So we're learning.
Well, Joe's really good at spending money at CHA, so we shouldn't have a problem. I'm going to have to hold him back next time.
I don't have any money to spend. I bought these glasses.
Good.
It was glasses or shopping. I had to make these tough decisions. But the cool thing is now I can actually see distance and close up.
Oh, that's really cool.
I've had that before. And today's my first day to wear them. Denise says next one she's getting a kit. And remember, if you like this, we have 23 of the Christmas kits left because one's already pre-sold. So I only have 23, and they're not even up on our site yet. So everybody should have those 6 pages done. And Rayanne, I've got you down for, you said you wanted Steampunk, or did you want Christmas? You'll have to let me know. And we'll send out emails. Terry Sue wants Christmas. Did you see Tristan said he's intrigued by how you folded your paper, your score tape back, Terry, onto itself so you didn't have to cut it and measure it.
Yeah, because I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I do things the easy way. So you should have ended up with 3 pockets. One there, and one there. 3 pockets. This is what your page should look like, all of your pages.
Cool.
Where are we
Cynthia
going?
said she wants Christmas. Daniela already has Steampunk. She's interested in Christmas. What I'll do is we'll send an email to announce the kits just to the folks who attended today before we tell the world. So that way, if we run out, we won't run out because there's only 23 people here and we have exactly 23 kits. So we'll give you a time frame to act before we tell the world, and then you guys get first pick. How's that? That'll be easier than me trying to keep this. Rayanne, the 6-inch one is only scored in half. It just makes 3 inches, folded up to 3 inches.
Yeah, so it's folded in half.
The spacer is 4.5 inches tall. The spacer is 4.5 inches tall. Jane, I would ship to the UK for you. You know I would ship for you.
So you don't need to worry about the length on the spacer. It's just 4.5 inches tall, and that gives you the width of the page.
And Kina, for the Christmas kits, we used Graphic 45's Christmas paper, the one that just came out at CHA this summer.
I might be able to show you that. Hold on.
So the spacer is 4.5. The 6-inch paper is just folded in half. The Christmas one is gorgeous, and my sister, I'll send out pictures. I'll post it on Terry's page. My sister made the Christmas one, but on every place there were poinsettias, she put red glitter. She put gold cording around the spine. Yeah, I think it's Christmas Emporium, Daniela. I think that's it. Is that it, Terry? Christmas Emporium?
I think so. This Christmas Emporium. This is, of course, I'm blind. I can't read it. I think so. It's got the ones with the 12 days of Christmas, right?
Yes, it's the 12 days of Christmas. So we put the 12 days of Christmas.
So it is a set.
A lot of folks use the 12 days pattern as their cover. I didn't like that. We used that as the inside cover, and on the front cover she put, I think, day 11 or whatever one's the Nutcracker, and she cut out and fussy cut a Nutcracker and put it on top of the Nutcracker. It came great.
Yeah, so you can definitely take this same idea and really run with it and make it even more fancy. Like I did with my, this is my Christmas one that I did, but I used Robin's Nest papers.
The nice thing about Graphic 45 is that when you buy one of their patterns, their lines, you know all the pages work well together because Diane uses the same palette of colors on every page. If you look at the papers I selected here for my little steampunk book that I was going to make today, let's see, you'll see that like the cover is all gears. It's a real pretty gear paper. And I've got real clock gears that are 2 and 3 inches in diameter that are going to go on top of this.
And then he's sending it to me.
This is 2 different kit sets of 2 tablets of paper, 2 different companies totally. So I had to do a little work to try to match up, you know, my colors. But like this is like a blueprint. I like the blueprint guy. I like that. That's 2 different lines. So the Damask is one company, the other is another company, but I was able to get a reasonable color match. So it's a little harder when you go across multiple lines, but it certainly is doable.
Okay, where are we going next?
We're at the halfway mark. Is there anyone who's still lost how to do one page? Because as long as you've got one page, we're done. Tristan, the blueprint paper, can you send me a note on Facebook and I'll look when I go home because I didn't bring the whole pad with me here. But I think the blueprint paper is Prima. That's it, and it came 8 by 10. I know it's 8 by 10. It's a pad, and I think it's Prima. But I can give you the exact name if you just message me on Facebook. Is there anybody who needs us to hold off? You should have one page done, and by page, I'm talking about. Whoops, where's my big sample? Got big samples everywhere. I'm talking about an 8x8 that's been folded in half, that has the little flaps. Now, some people do glue these down, but for what we've done on our Steampunk Spells book at home, we left them open, and underneath we put little stickers that are in your kit that say things like potions or surprise. So if somebody actually lifts up the flap, there's something underneath. You could put a button and string and make a hidden message that could untie it. Barbara says it might be Prima Craftsman paper, Tristan, so she could be right. I know it's Prima and it's an 8x10. So you have your 8x8 folded on the top. It has a cute little flap on the side. There's a 6x6 underneath it. You're able to put your hands inside of it, both ends. You're able to put your hand in the center. And you're able to put your hand in the back. Now you're going to do that and make 6 pages identical to this. And what we can do now is go ahead and put them aside. Because what we're going to work on next, let me clean my area here. If you could see, I have 12 foot of counter space. It's all full for this one show. What we're going to make now is the binding. So in your kit, you have 3 little tiny sheets of paper. I believe they're black. And for those of you who are curious about measurements, they're 4.5 inches tall, and you'll see why in a minute. Then you have one that's 1 3/4. You add a 1/2 inch to get 2 1/4. You add a 1/2 inch to get 2 3/4. So obviously this is ginormous size, but there are 3 pieces of paper. They're 4.5 inches tall, each one. Then 1 3/4. The next one's a 1/2 inch bigger, so it'll be 2 1/4. The next one's another 1/2 inch bigger, it'll be 2 3/4. Now let me show you what's so cool about this. When we're done, this is where we're headed. This isn't where you're at now. Is each one of these you're going to score and fold up 3/4 of an inch. It's hard for me to hold this in the air, but when you fold it up, do you see what you end up with here? You see that little thing, that little stack? Let me get that middle one. It's kind of goofy. You see that? It makes 6 what I'm going to call fins. These things standing up are fins. Because this is going to go down the spine of your book, just like my chest would be my spine. And those pages you just made, the left-hand side is going to go onto this spine. Now, obviously, mine's too big. It doesn't fit.
Hard to see,
But that's how these pages attach. The left-hand side slide onto this spine. My spine is too big. So let me cut this. I'll cut it real fast so you can all see how that's.
While you're cutting, Joe, let me go and show them how to score.
Go ahead.
So you have all 3 of your black pieces of paper for your spine. You're going to, on each side, score in, is it 3/4 of an inch, Joe?
3/4 of an inch, yep.
Yes. So I'm putting mine in my trimmer here with my scoring blade, and I'm scoring in 3/4 of an inch. I'm turning it completely around and scoring again at 3/4 of an inch. You're going to do that with all 3 of your pieces of paper, your black ones. So there's one. So go ahead and start scoring, guys. Grab your black pieces of paper, score in on both sides, 3/4 of an inch on all 3 of them. So I have, again, 3/4 of an inch. I know it's hard to see on black, but they're really, oh, you can see it right there. See the score line? All 3 of them. And yes, this one looks really small when you're done, but just trust us.
So when you're done, this is 4.5 inches. The reason it's 4.5 inches, remember your spacer was 4.5? It's hard to see on camera, but you see how this page is going to slide if I can get it open. I have to do it on my desk, folks. Can't do it in the air. Hold on. Very hard to do it in the air. There we go. Each page is going to slide onto one of these fins, and that's actually making the binding of the book.
Okay, so again, you grab your 3 pieces of black paper, you score in on both sides. Now that's the long side. Make sure you do the long side, 3/4 of an inch on all 3 of them.
And those measurements again, because folks missed them, they're all 4.5 inches tall. So what I did is I cut a strip of black 4.5 inches,
Mm-hmm.
and then I chopped it 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 3/4. So there's a 1/2 inch every time it gets bigger. 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 3/4. They're all 4 inches tall.
4.5.
4.5. Sorry, 4.5. You're right. They're all 4.5 because remember your pocket is 4.5 tall, and they're going to slide like this. So earlier, Tristan, you asked about how tight should the spacer be in there. If it's too tight, you'll have to trim these fins a hair. But if you slid okay your spacer, they should slide right on the fin. Can you see how it's sliding right on that fin there? This is such a cool binding. Laura Dennison calls this stacking the deck. Stacking the deck, because you're going to end up stacking these 3 pieces of paper to make this little channel kind of thing. Is this big visual aid helping, folks? I know it's all crooked and it's hard to hold straight in the air. The scoring details, Kina, you're only going to score on the long side 3/4 of an inch in from both sides on all 3 pieces of paper. So the very littlest one, it only has 1/4 of an inch left over in the middle. Because it was 1 3/4, well, when you take away 3/4 and 3/4, all that's left is 1/4. So you're scoring in 3/4 of an inch along the long side. I think people are still scoring and folding, Terry. Look at my office while we're here. Let's just pause for just a moment. This is where I set up because I was going to make a book at the same time. So I've got this camera mounted on a bar thing and all my papers and stuff thrown all over here and tools. I look out the 11th floor of Columbus, Ohio. This is Columbus, Ohio. And then it comes around to all the rest of these visual aids, Terry, multiple monitors at the same time. And then I've even got stuff on this table over here. So it's a little crazy here. My place is a mess compared to Terry's. Has everybody who's following along, let me know in the chat window or in the question and answer window, do you have your 3 pieces of paper all scored 3 1/4 inches in from the ends, the tall ends, ready to go? Danielle's ready to go. Danielle, Margie's ready to go. Kina, I want you to catch up if you can, Kina. Forget your pages. Just get those 3 pieces of paper. You're probably cutting them because you didn't have the kit. So 4.5, 1 3/4 wide, 2 1/4 wide, 2 3/4 wide. Jane, hopefully you've got the measurements this time. Now this next part, Terry, I think we lost your sound. At your back, you were muted.
Okay. I just haven't been talking, believe it or not.
Tam's caught up, Jane's cutting. So while you're cutting, just listen, pay attention to this part. Don't be cheap with your adhesive on this step. I also don't
Yes.
think a liquid adhesive works well. What do you think, Terry? I think it
I
has to be.
agree, and we have some ideas on how to reinforce the book that we'll go with to show, because both me and Joe's books fell apart, and both of us have come up with ideas on how to reinforce the book so that you don't have it fall apart. Even with, I use Miracle tape, which is a good good tape. I've seen people who use Redline and it still fell apart, so definitely watch this.
So you're going to take the smallest strip, 1 3/4. You've got a little 1/4-inch channel down the center that's not scored, because if you fold it up, Terry will show you, it's got the wings on either side. See the wings folded up, make that little letter U. Let's call that the letter U. On the bottom of the letter U, down that center part, you're going to put score tape, red line, something a 1/4-inch wide, top to bottom. And again, I don't think liquid adhesive works well. I had good luck with score tape, but it's still, when you work the book a lot, it'll fall apart.
Yes.
So don't be cheap here. Put that, and you'll see where I mean don't be cheap, the next layer. And Terry's going to put that centered on top of the medium-sized piece. And be sure you're centered, nice. And now you can see you've got 4 fins, right? The little piece makes 2 fins, and the outside piece makes 2 fins. So we're just here, we've got this much done.
See that?
The little piece and the middle-sized piece. Stack the deck. This is what Laura Dennison calls stack the deck. Laura does beautiful work, great designs, very talented, sweet person, teaches at CHA. Terry and I took this class and immediately went back and said, we have to teach this.
Yes.
Now you're going to take the middle one and stack that on top of the big one. Center. But on that middle one, you have, oh, I don't know, and I think you have 1 inch. I'm not sure. No, wait. 3/4 of an inch. I covered all 3/4 of an inch of mine with score tape. Don't be cheap. Don't put one little strip down the center. Hope is not a plan here. Prayer is not a strategy. No, hope and prayer will not work. So now you've got all 3 stacked together, and what Terry and I did to reinforce this is we ran a couple staples right down the center.
Now what you guys can do, if you don't want to see these staples, which you really can't see much of them, you would take a black Sharpie and you can paint right over your staples. And make
Or
them...
when we're all done, you'll have lots of scraps. Just cut a 1/4 inch by 4.5 scrap and tape that right down that center.
And you really don't see this, and I'll show you in my book to prove it. That's the center.
And you don't need to do it now, worry about it now, because you have access, you can get to this part later on, you know, you can get your hands in there. But that's Stacking the Deck by Laura Dennison. You should end up with 6 little fans, wings, vertical thingies. I guess this way's better. And now, once you're done with stacking the deck, I would put that aside. We don't need that right now. So, give yourself some room on your table now for this next step. If you don't want to screw this up, this is going to be building the outside bookboard parts of your book. The hard bookboard parts. Your pages, 6 of those, put them aside. The stack the deck, get it out of the way. What you're going to need if you got a kit from us, Daniela, you do need your trimmer for just 2 more trims, and then you can put it away. We're going to use it right away, but 2 more trims. What you're going to need if you bought a kit from us is you've got 2 pieces of chipboard. This is mat board, book board, chipboard, something stiff. If you're going to use cereal box, sometimes I'll glue one on top of another just to make it really stiff. But you've got 2 of those. I believe they're 6 by 9. Then you've got a little tiny spine. I think it's 6 by 9. Yep. You got a little tiny spine that's 6 inches tall by. Can you believe I lost my ruler in this mess? It's 6 by 2. 6 by 2. So you have 6 by 9, 2 of them. 6 by 2. If you think about it, just visualize where we're headed here. It makes the outside part of the book. So to get started, Daniela, this is
have a spacer.
You need, and you have a little piece labeled spacer. It probably says right on it, spacer. That's just a spacer. We're not going to glue it to anything. You're going to start by taking one of your 6 by 6 papers. You're going to have to go back to your stack, your pad. Not the ones you folded. Those are for your pages, but just a 6 by 6 paper, and cut it so that it's 6 inches tall, but only 5 inches wide. This is going to be the outside spine of your book. So think about what's going to go well with your front and back covers. Terry, do you want to show your book so they can see where that outside spine is? See, there's a little bit showing on the front, all down the spine, and then a little bit on the back. So think about what's going to look good with your cover. And you're going to cut this 6 inches tall. Your whole book is 6 inches tall by 5 inches wide.
So basically you're going to get 1 inch off of one side.
And save those scraps because they're great for embellishing. We'll show you what to do with that in a minute. Now I want you to take that 6 by 5, lay it face down on your desk. So the good side, the side you want people to see, is face down. And you're going to adhere the 2 by 6 inch piece right down the center. You could use score tape. Terry's using a paste. Now I've had people in class ask me which way should it go. Take your time, Jane. It won't go the other way, right? I mean, the page is only 5 inches. This is 6. So there's only one way it can go. That's it, right down that center. So Margie, you've done your pages, you've put them away. You did your stack the deck, you've put it away. You've gone back to your paper stack, chosen a paper, 6 by 6, that you'd like to use for the outside spine of your book. See where Terry's fingers are? That's the spine. You take that piece of paper, you chop 1 inch off to make it 6 by 5. So now you have a 6 by 5 inch paper. You're going to put it face down. You're going to take 6 by 2. This is chipboard. This is heavy. This doesn't bend well. This is stiff. If you go to garage sales, get old games like Sorry and Monopoly and stuff. You can use the game boards and actually leave that showing. You don't have to cover it like we're covering it now. That makes cool boards. Chipboard, thick boxes, mat board. I get mat board from Hobby Lobby. I get all their scraps and I use their scraps. If you're using a real flimsy cereal box, I'd probably glue one on top of another just to make it thick and stiff. But when all's said and done, you're going to take that 6 by 2 and you're going to glue it in the center of that 6x5. So are we okay with that? Now, this is where you got to pay attention. You got to take your time. Don't glue. This is like sewing. Measure twice, cut once. You want to make sure that's laying down the right way on your table, face down, like Terry's got it. And you're going to take your 6x9 board and you're going to glue it right next to it.
Hold on, Joe. Joe, we need to, Joe.
Yes?
Joe, we need to cover the fronts before we do that.
No, I don't.
Okay.
You'll be okay.
Okay.
So we're going to put this, see this big board right next to it. Now, don't glue yet. There's a trick. If you glue these things tight, side by side, your book won't, the spine won't bend. You won't be able to open and close the book. You've got to leave a little space between the two of them. And that space should be equal to the thickness of your board. So we gave you a little spacer. Notice it's not the wide ways, it's the vertical way. Terry's just using it to give her just a hair bit of space between the spine and the bookboard. See how tiny that is? It's probably less than 1/8 of an inch. It's very tiny. So we're putting some paste on there. Putting your spacer. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So that little 6x6, or 6x5, sorry, that little 6-inch tall, 5-inch wide paper is holding a big chipboard, the spine, and the little chipboard. She's using the spacer just to get a distance between the spine and the covers. Tristan said he loves Terry. You make a mess, you don't worry about it. But she's going to wipe that glue up because she doesn't want to get it on her paper.
Yep.
So Terry, can you hold up front and back and show us what you've got? There's that 5x6 paper, 6 inches tall, 5 inches wide, and you can see how it's holding those 3 pieces together. Now I want you to see how cool this is, right? She can flip it over or fold it. That's your book. There's the book. There's the spine. There's the back. So if you want to work now, you can put your front covers on.
We got to cut them first.
Those front covers have to be 8 wide by 6 tall. So remember now, you can go back to your kits. Remember I told you, Terry and I told you, take 4 papers and tuck them away. Front cover, back cover, inside front, inside back. Now you're going to go reach in and grab that front cover. You only want 6 inches by 8. So you're going to have to take 2 inches off of it, off the bottom, the top. Depending on the paper you chose, you may want to take some off the top and some off the bottom.
I'm going to actually cut on mine 2 inches directly off the bottom. Make sure you pay attention. I had a student that did this wrong. Make sure you pay attention to which side you're cutting off. So,
So you want 8 inches wide, 6 inches tall.
So if you cut 2 inches off the bottom or the top, you will have it perfect.
Now when you go to put that on, make sure you've got it on the front and not the back. See how Terry's folded the book to make sure she has it right?
Yes, that's important too.
So we can go ahead and glue that puppy on. Terry, what glue are you using for your paste glue there?
I'm actually using gel medium. But you can definitely, you know, I just wanted to have something that I didn't have any glue sticks, which would have worked also really well. So.
And you can use like score tape. Make sure you go really close around the edges though, because you want to, you know, really get all that.
That's why I think I'm using a paste instead of a tape, because of tape you're still going to get a little like bubbling if you don't get it completely adhered
wait,
everywhere.
before you put it down, Terry, look where your right hand is, I think. Wave your right hand. Is that the other one? Over by the spine, that paper is just a hair bigger than what she's covering, so she may want to put a little bit of glue so that it goes right up to the edge. It's about 1/4 of an inch. Tristan says he's going to go right through the Xyron with this thing.
Very smart idea, Tristan. That's a great idea. Xyron would be perfect.
Terry Sue used a black marker to create a border on the bottom since it was cut off. That's a great idea. See how there's that? Or you could cut very fine, cut the border off the original paper, the scrap, and glue it across the bottom of her torso. You know what I mean?
I actually, in the stickers, you have this particular sticker. So I use that sticker, and then also in your stickers you have this one. So don't worry about so much of that right now, because your stickers has a lot of things that you can kind of come in and detail it out.
So now we're going to do the back. Now, my sister made this book with Christmas, and when she put the back on, she put it on upside down. So
pay attention.
Be very careful how you're going to do this. You can open your book 4 or 5 times, lay it flat on the table, and open the front and the back. Make sure you've got it the way you want it. So Terry's got it front and back. The balloons are flying the right way. Barbara likes to use her 2-inch wide cheetah by Xyron to do big strips of adhesive. That's cool too.
Great idea. So again, I'm taking 2 inches off this balloon piece of paper that I'm using for my back cover.
And save all these scraps. We're going to show you where to use them.
Yes. So again, double checking my direction. Balloons are going the right way. Double checking, triple checking. Yes, yes. Okay. Xyron. God, that's a brilliant idea.
You know, I have to say I use my good old ATG. I like this big, where is it? I like my big ATG, and I go to town. I could probably use a whole roll in this book. So Terry's putting the back cover on now.
Again, making sure I'm going the right way.
Now some extra ideas. Some of you, I used scraps of netboards in the kits I put together. So, you know, some are white, they're all white on the back, but some, you know, are different colors. But one woman in my class had a black, and she chose not to cover it whole with paper. She's going to fussy cut out that woman and the hot air balloons and just use it on a black background. So sometimes you don't even have to cover your mat board. You could cover it with cardstock. But look at that, the front and back, the spine. We haven't done any embellishments or trimming yet. Terry said if you goof on the back cover, she just worked the back like it was the front, and she just opens it from left to right.
Well, there you go.
It's all about being creative. I love it.
That's right.
Now, this is an extra bonus for the overachievers in the room, if we have any overachievers in the room. If you want to put a ribbon, like a bookmark or something, you can do it now on the inside. You can go into your stash and take a ribbon and glue it right where Terry's finger is. On the steampunk book I'm making, I'm going to use a chain, and I'm going to just punch a hole and put a jump ring. But if you want to put a piece of ribbon there or something, make sure you put a good score tape on the back and eventually on the front. You want this seam area, that spine area, to be very well adhered. I think in the kits I sent out in Terri 2, you've got several colors of ribbon, fibers, you've got tooling. So you have a lot of options there. So if you want, on your inside now, you could put a little ribbon. You don't have to. I don't know if Terri wants to or not. It's her book.
Well, actually, we're going to give this one away, and this doesn't match, so I just grabbed this. It was closest ribbon I can find.
Yes.
So it doesn't really match. So
I'm going to do that.
No.
Now you need another 6 by. We're going to do the same on the inside that we just did on the outside. You're going to take a 6 by 6 inch paper, cut it off 1 inch off the sides to make it 6 by 5. You really don't have to. You could keep it 6 by 6, but all these little scraps we cut off, we use other places. So why waste it? And
when I did my class, we actually didn't cut the inside paper to 6 by 5. We actually left it 6 by 6, but you could do that.
Now, before she glues it, here's another tip, another trick. Underneath that, there's 2 little stripes that are kind of hollow. They're little valleys, right where we put the spacer. Remember where the spacer slid in there? Your book will be a better quality book if we can get this paper to go across the spine, down into those little holes, and back up. So what I did is take the paper like Terry's got it. I took the spacer again, and I kind of sawed it down in there to push that down into that valley. You can use your score tool. Just be careful you don't cut the paper. Your fingernail, a ballpoint pen that doesn't have ink anymore.
Yeah, something to get in there. Or you could probably even go in with a scoring blade and score it. Those 2 little spots.
You know, just trying to get it down in there. And now she's going to glue that on. And if any glue gets in the little valleys, that's okay too, because it'll help hold that paper down in that valley. So don't stress out about it. If you're using score tape, don't be cheap. Go up and down that whole 2-inch spine. Cover every little bit of it. Because that's holding all the pages, all the weight of this book is in that 2-inch strip. Oh, thanks. Tristan says that's a great tip to get the paper in the valley. And I think that it's handy. I always save what I'm using as my book boards. I save the scraps because I use them as the spacers. So before she glues this, you know, to beat the band and let it dry, she's going to push that paper down in that valley. Now she should be able to open and close the book. If there's any crinkles or wrinkles, it means you've got to push it down in the valley. You got to get your glue in there. Use your spacer tool. Take a minute to get this nice. You're making a really, you know, really pretty project. Nice quality. It's worth taking the chance to get it really nice. If you end up with a big bubble, a big bump, it's because you didn't get the paper down in the valley. It's easier to do this with a liquid glue, a paste glue, because the paper will move and you can work it out a bit. It's harder with the dry adhesive.
Yes.
And guess what? Now you're going to do the inside covers the same way. Make sure you've got things facing up the right way, that you're opening the book and you don't go upside down or right side up. So you're going to go back in your stash. I told you to save 4 sheets. Front cover, back cover you've already used. Now you're going to use your inside covers, and you're going to trim them 6 inches tall, 8 inches wide. You've got to take 2 inches off somehow.
I'd like you guys to give us opinion on how you like this, where one of us is doing the project and the other one's talking, if you like that idea. Or the other thought we originally had was we were going to, like, one of us was going to do half of it and then the other one was going to do the other half. But I don't know. I kind of think this is easier for you guys, but let us know what you think.
And we can take turns. We can flip one show. Terry's, you see her face the whole time, but we picked me because I got my new glasses. Not my new glasses. Oh, we just had a camera bang. 911.
Because he's trying to show those glasses off too much. It's like,
I am so happy with my new glasses. You just have no idea how much I'm happy with my new glasses.
I know, because you called and told me all about it.
People are saying that this to Daniela, man down, you're right. So we're getting good feedback about the process, Terry, and the mock-ups, and the, you know, doing it in a big scale fake while you do it in a real scale. So this is great feedback. Thank you. And we're sorry for all the little glitches. We're really learning, but I love working with Terry because we both know in our hearts we're trying to do the right thing and not purposely, you know, screwing one over. Or, you know, we're really working well together, and we don't hate each other when we do screw up. Rayanne likes the fact that your inside covers match, Terry.
Yes, I got lucky on that because I just happened to have an extra piece of paper. So
Terry Sue says we go to Vegas and get married.
We do go to Vegas and get married and divorced.
And you know, we share a room really well too together, don't you think?
I do. You're actually one of the best roomies I've had.
And I'm pretty to look at, which was this added bonus you didn't even think.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Especially when he runs around in his undies and his t-shirt.
Oh, Donna has a great idea, using a roller or a brayer to press the pages down on the cover. And I brought my brayer too. We forgot to mention it. Very good, Donna.
Very good idea.
Marge had a little trouble with her spine. Remember, this may be the first time some of you are making a book, and you'll get the hang of it, like getting it in the creases and working out the bubbles. And you can always put another piece on top, Marge, cover it up again. Tristan says TMI.
What about the underwear and he wears whitey tighties, guys?
Oh my God!
Too funny.
I am blushing. I wish I could turn up the... How do I change the color intensity here? I'll make me real red. So I think Marge, I know Marge said she's having a little trouble with the spine. So, you know, yell privately if we can help you straighten it out. This is the next step here. You're in the home stretch, which is good. We have about 25 minutes left. Is you're going to take that, stack the deck, and adhere it to the center vertically and horizontally of your covers here. This is, again, not where you want to be cheap with adhesive. All of the pull, the stress on this book, the pages are on that little stack the deck, which we reinforced with staples, but then it's also where that attaches to the spine. So you want to be careful about this. And I know some of you are saying, wow, this is really going fast. Remember, we are recording it, fingers crossed. I hope that's going on in the studio behind me. So we'll post the recording. If you bought a kit, you have written instructions with colored photos. Hopefully this is reinforcing it. You're getting the ideas. It's hard in the photos. But it's hard to make it a 3-hour class. Denise, cheers. Welcome, Denise. Terri,
I do have
cooler tape here.
I do have a couple suggestions on how to reinforce this also. Besides tape, if you're remaking this book again in the future, before you put your outside cover on, you could actually lay this down and staple all the way through. Or the other idea I have is once you've got this on the center, for a few of you that might have your crocodile, you could come in with your crocodile at this point and put in, say, a big hole on top and a hole on the bottom, and then you could go through and have a ribbon coming out the back, out the side.
Another idea, Terri, is I used my Dremel because the Dremel, I could make more holes. I didn't have my crocodile with the deep throat. And I have brads where the heads of the brads look like screws. So
great ideas.
Put those on the back. The brads come through to this side where Terri's fingers are. You spray them out. And then right where the staples are and the feet of the brads, you just put a little 1/4-inch piece of paper, and you'll hide all those mechanics. But the screw brads, especially on a steampunk one, look great. On a Christmas book, there's brads that have rhinestones like on the head. Red and green, they look great. Gold. Rivets, with Terri's ribbon idea, put rivets to really finish that hole, or eyelet. What do you call that, Terri? Is it a rivet or an eyelet, the whole thing?
Rivets actually have a little backing, and eyelet doesn't. That's all the difference.
So those little metal ringy things.
Yeah. So different ways to get it a little tougher in there is to reinforce its binding, because both me and Joe found that we did have problems with our binding, this coming out very easily. Or I don't know about you, Joe, my back page, my biggest one, stayed on, but these fell out.
For me, it was the littlest one, and that's why I think where we stapled the deck together will make a huge difference, because the only part that fell apart for me was my little one.
Yeah, that's basically these two fell out on mine, but this one stayed in. So I think our ideas of doing some type of reinforcing in the center by the staples. I actually even came in on my steampunk one when I was at the store because I didn't have a chance to do it, and I pulled this off in the store, and I stapled through the whole thing so that the staple is on the back of this little decorative part, so you couldn't see it. So that made my binding stay in there, and now it's not going to come out.
So now we're in the final stages here, but to me, when I got this far, I thought, oh my God, how cool is this? If you're just curious to see what it looks like, you can go ahead and slide in your pages. Don't glue them in, don't adhere them, but you'll see how they slide onto the little fins, and really, your book is done. Now, to really attach these, I wouldn't attach them till you do any of your embellishments, because it's easier to work on the pages when they aren't in the book. It's much easier to work on them when they're outside of the book.
And also, another tip is when you do start gluing them in, start from the back and work your way forward, making sure that your 6x6 is on the bottom. So that's important. So you would start, when I glue mine in, I started back here, and I started gluing forward.
And here you're going to really need to use a liquid glue, because if you put a tape runner on the fin, you won't be able to slide that page down on it. It gets stuck on the tape, whereas a liquid you can still slide. Now, we're not gluing these because we're going to embellish them outside of the book, but I just want you to see how it's come together now. It's basically 3 major parts. The pages, the Stack the Deck by Laura Dennison, and then the outer bookboard covers. But you've now made a book. The covers should open and close. You've got a nice amount of space. This binding technique that Laura calls Stack the Deck, what's nice about this is there's a 1/4 of an inch space between every page, so you can put a lot of goodies in your pockets, and the book doesn't get all splayed out. It'll still close nice and perpendicular. because you've got nice space between every page. So that's a very nice feature of this particular binding. And anything you have that a pocket. So thinking outside the box, you could take envelopes, regular manila envelopes, and cut off a side, make it a pocket then, and it slides onto a spine. Now you've got a book made out of envelopes. So it's a great technique. And
so did everybody see how I put those pages in? Because I know I did it a little quickly.
Kina says she absolutely loves this project. Kina, I have to tell you, when we were done in class, Terry and I were both like, wow. And then at my house, I told my sister, sit down and make a Christmas book. I'm going to show you how. She was like, no, 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 no. And I said, Betty, try it. As soon as she made the hard covers, she didn't even get the deck in there or the pages. She was like, oh, it looks like a book. And then once she finished it, she said, I was going to give it as a gift. I'm not. I love it. I'm keeping it. Daniela, the Christmas book is the exact same process. The kit has the written instructions, but then we've also done all the paper selection for you. And basically, it's half a pad, Graphic 45's 8x8, half of a 6x6 pad. I've got some 3D poinsettia stacked embellishments that aren't from Graphic 45 that go good with the paper. All the fibers, the chipboard tags, the mat board covers and spine. So it just saves you all the finding the papers and the ribbons and the embellishments and the cutting. All of it's pre-done. You just fold, score, and assemble.
So again, is everybody seeing how I'm doing this? I'm starting in the back of the book. Here's the back of the book. And you open up one of your, making sure your 6x6 is on the bottom, 8x8's on the top, and the flaps over here. Open it up just a tad bit. I just take my hand and open it. Go right over top of that little fin and drop it.
And if you know the fin is too tall, just trim it a little bit.
Which I haven't had a student that's had that problem, so I think you'll all be okay. So you see how it's going? So I would put adhesive. I'd put adhesive. I'd open this baby up, plop it on there, keep going, and work from the back forward.
Now, if you're going to use a liquid adhesive, which is what we recommend, either make sure it's dry or put a little wax paper between them, because you don't want to do all the work you've done and end up gluing one page to another because some glue leaked out the bottom and went over to the next page, and you'll be very upset if that happens.
I did make mine with the dry tape, but like he says, it does grab. So if you do it, it can be done. Just really, pay attention to what you're doing.
Let's look at some embellishment ideas, though, especially with your scraps. So Terry has a scrap there right in front of her. It's that little strip that's a 1/2 inch wide by 6 inches long. It's the orange one as an example. These little 1/2 inch strips, 1/2 inch by 6, make great suspenders. So
very good idea.
All you're going to do is take those strips, and do you see how that page has a pair of them, one on the left, one on the right? And at the bottom, for those of you who bought a kit, you've got stickers with all these steampunk little round things. There's little button shapes. There's little emblems. But do you see how that made like little suspenders, what Laura calls suspenders on each page? But when you put your suspenders, I want you to be careful about the distance because the tag has to fit between them.
That's very important, guys. Don't put those too close to each other. These tags are actually quite large. They need to be able to fit in there.
And a trick is you just take the 6x6 inch or 6 by 1/2 inch strip, fold it in half so you have a 3 on one side, a 3 on the other, and just lay it right over the top.
So it's actually the fold is up on the top here.
Just go like that, go like that. Now this is a great place in the Christmas book for real buttons. Pam says decorative duct tape is good on the spine too.
Good idea.
But this is the fun part. Now you get to decorate. I put stuff under the flaps. If you look under the little flaps there, see that little space? I don't know if you have handy your sticker sheet, Terry, but you can show there's little stickers. They're only 1/4 inch wide, about 1 inch long, and they say words on them. The Christmas kit isn't up on the page yet, Tristan. I'm going to send email just to the folks who are here today so that you get as soon as it's on the site, I'll let you know first so that we don't run out. And I think we probably have 3 Steampunk kits left because we had 6, and I know 3 people said they wanted them. But see that little sticker? It's just perfect under the little flap if you want to make like a little secret under there. I love that little hidden thing. I like that, you know, for anybody who looks, there's something hidden there.
There's this whole sheet of stickers. A lot of those little, these little pieces here, I got off of this sheet that you got from us. It's called the, what did they call this? I think this was the banners. The banners.
I think you're right, banners.
Well, there's 2 sides. There's this side and this side. All these little guys work really good on the suspenders.
Now, if you don't do this, even if you do the suspender, but if you don't do a suspender, take one of your strips of 6-inch wide paper at about a 1/2 inch high and go across the top of that pocket, and it really makes the pocket look finished. It totally changes the look of that page because you really get the sense it is a pocket.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like he was saying, you could come across and make a really good border right there.
See how that to me just suddenly makes it look like a pocket? You could even do that first and then the suspenders over it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some on the front and the back and covers. Another nice place to embellish is to take a little 1/4 inch strip and just run it where the front cover meets the spine paper.
And I found that to be perfect with, where was it? I don't remember what sheet of paper had that sticker on it. Oh, it was this one. On this the big 12 by 12 sticker sheet, they have on this one side right here, this little black one is a tiny little sticker. And I did that right along my edge of my book where the 2 connect. Right there. And then I also...
Terry, you put a tag on your spine, which I thought looks great.
Yes. The tags, you have big chipboard pieces in your kit. These are all chipboard pieces. And that's where I got, this tag is on front, is a piece of chipboard also. And then this piece right here is a piece of chipboard. And then this sticker across the bottom to make your front just a little more clean was also a sticker that I found on the big sheet of stickers we gave you. This one right here. That sticker. This one I use. But there's, as you'll see, you have a ton of product to decorate with.
So Daniela said, which way do the pages go? Fold in or fold out? The flat side, the lined up side, is the left edge. That goes into the fin.
You want it, I guess the easiest way for, I think, Joe, is the 6-inch goes on the bottom.
Yep, because you want the
8-inch on the
pocket
top.
for your tag. You want your pocket for your tag.
So if you remember your 6 is on the bottom, when you slip it on, remember that every time you do that, you want the 6-inch on the bottom. And make sure your tags aren't, you don't want to put them in upside down because then your tag is going to fall out. See, that would be upside down. 6-inch on the bottom. Does somebody want me to glue one in to show them? Got to find my 1/4 inch tape. There it is.
So, send us some feedback in the chat room or in the Q&A window. I know we did have one person, Terry, who gave up. She couldn't make the book. So I feel bad for her, but there's not much I can do remote to fix that.
Yeah.
I hope that somebody out there was able to keep up and make their book. I'd love to know. Let us know if this turned out to be good or bad for you. Now, may not have finished, and you can spend hours embellishing this. Put stickles and glitter, purple, a green, red on there, some bling. I put want to scrap bling on mine, swirls, flourishes and stuff look great. You've got all those tags to decorate with all your leftover paper. You've got all the fibers to put on there. So I literally spent hours embellishing mine.
I did too.
Cynthia, I had a few issues, but I'll make it right. I love this format. Oh, good, Cynthia. And Tristan's going to do his right after the class is over.
So as you see, I have tape on both sides of that little flap. And then I'm going to, you open it up real wide, stick it over there. If you notice, see how mine's still open? I'm holding it open because of the tape. I got it all the way down, and then I can go in and push those pieces in. And now that is glued in.
Linda's learning a lot. Karen's going to start as soon as we're done. Rayanne says she stopped to take notes because she wants to have everything prepared when she starts, which makes great sense.
Makes sense, yes.
And Denise, it'll take us a little time to upload the video. It's 2 hours long. I hope it's still recording back there. I only got up and checked once, so I hope that. There is written instructions, too.
With pictures in the written instructions. They're not in color, Joe. They're in black and white.
They're in black and white, okay.
Yeah, but there are pictures.
There's color on my website, I think on your stuff too, right?
There is color pictures that you can find, but in your actual handout, I just wanted them to know it's not. It is black and white. There is all her designs of how she did the book. So there's full instructions here, except for the couple little things that me and Joe changed, like the stapling and stuff like that, is not in the directions. We changed that. So we get a finished book up here.
And I think, too, Barbara said she thought the class was super. She loves us both. Thank you, Barbara. Rayanne, it should be up on YouTube, but we'll email everyone the link. It'll take time to upload it. So we'll email the link. We'll email those written instructions with all the measurements. I want to be sure everybody knows we're giving a shout-out here to Laura Dennison. This is Laura's project. She designed it. Those are her instructions. She taught it at CHA. Terry and I learned it from Laura at CHA, and then we brought it to you. So thank you, Donna. And if you have ideas, I'm not a scrapbooker at all, but I love books and bookmaking, journal making. I just made a Coptic stitch journal. If Terry's been working on art journals on her show, and how to decorate the art journals, create art on those pages. But if you're if you think you'd be interested in book classes like this, let us know. Book classes take a little longer. We couldn't do this in an hour. There's no way. And 2 hours is tight. We have 8 minutes left. But email us, Facebook us, give us that feedback as to, do you want books? Do you want more binding techniques? If you like the kits, we like doing the kits in advance, and then you have them at the class. It might still be hard to follow along because you can't keep up with, we've got everything ready. But maybe you could at least, get one page done and see some of these techniques. Terry's show every Tuesday night, she's teaching art journals right now, so that's a great thing to do.
Yep, this is basically pictures of what we do.
Thanks for all the positive feedback, ideas too. We welcome all that. Peggy would love new binding ideas. So with Tristan. Tristan, I am a bookmaker at heart, I think. I love making books.
I do too, so I have lots of cool ideas on how to make books also.
And I like construction things. Now what Laura did at CHA, she made what looks like a haunted house out of mat board, a 3D haunted house. It even had a turret with acetate around the turret and a chandelier hanging in the turret. The roof, with all the little shingles taped on and everything layered. When you opened up the roof, inside was a handle like a draw pull. You pulled it out, and that was your book. So imagine on the spine of Terry's book if you had attached a handle, a draw pull, from a kitchen cabinet drawer. So that whole book sat down in the haunted house, and then you closed the lid. It was spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. And I like construction things like that. I'd like to take this book, put it in another box, let the handle be the drawer that you pull out. I love those sorts of things.
Can I switch my camera back to my face?
Sure. And we're getting lots of feedback, and we really appreciate that, right, Terri? Because we do.
Yes.
We read every comment. Terri reads all her Tuesday night show comments.
I do. I go and watch it every day, or every Tuesday or Wednesday.
And we probably talk about ideas. Well, this week I've been very busy because,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes, they called me.
this is a secret just for you guys on the show. We haven't really gone public with this yet. But if you want to go to Facebook, look up Facebook, Art, A-R-T, Art Papers Online. Art Papers Online. It's a brand new business that I've been happy to help on. We just got their website up, artpapersonline.com. They are the largest supplier of decorative art papers, global papers, here in the United States. They have 1,000 papers up on the site. Soon they'll have up to 5,000 papers. Chiagamis, kozo, mulberries, gorgeous hand silk screened art papers. So if you want to like Art Papers Online, I've been tied up doing their site for 2 weeks, so I've been bad. Terri knows. She's known behind the scenes. But that's done now, so I have more time. But we probably, when I wasn't crazy busy, we probably talk every day.
Yes, and then we definitely have an idea that we're putting together right now. We don't have it completely done yet, but we're definitely going to do another book idea using some of those fancy papers that he just talked about. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, and I don't know the other sites that folks have asked about, but these are art papers, you know, the full sheets, about 22 by 30. Beautiful textures and thicknesses. When Terri comes to visit me, we're driving up to Michigan so I can show her the warehouse. And wait till she sees those papers.
I know, I'm excited. Because I'm kind of a paper whore.
So I appreciate you all joining us. Stay with us if you want to chat, but we're going to say goodbye because I'll go stop the recording and then I'll come back. Any closing words, Terri, my very good friend and partner in crime?
No, but thank you guys very much for showing up here. We really do appreciate all of your support. I appreciate you guys coming out on Tuesday nights also. It just warms my heart every time I see those numbers of how many people show up to my classes. I really do appreciate it. So thank you very much.